For 95% of human history, there were no kings. Then we planted a seed and built the first cage. And we called it civilization. The first writing in history wasn't poetry, it was a receipt to tax you. They didn't make you fear the king, they made you worship him. India wasn't conquered by a country, it was conquered by a company. 2,000 years ago, they called it bread and circuses. Today, we just call it the feed. The empire never died, they just put on a suit. Every system humans ever built turned power into a god. And now we've built the most powerful tool in history. It will become the final god or the first key out of the cage. This is the fork and we are standing on it right now. So here's the only question that matters. What if for the first time ever, the people own the system? You were told a story. That history is a slow climb upward, that we started in caves and step by step, we got smarter, freer, better until we arrived at today. The best version of the world there's ever been. I want to show you the other half of that story. Because almost everything you're about to hear is true, sourced, and checkable, and almost none of it is the version you were taught in school. My name is Mohammed. I'm an AI researcher. I serve at a mosque that runs entirely on volunteers on the oldest model of community we have. And for the last few years, I've been obsessed with one question that I could not put down. Why does every system humans build eventually end up doing the exact same thing? Concentrating power at the top and squeezing everyone holding it up from below. Here's a small example before we go big. Flint, Michigan, 2014. To save money, officials changed the city's water source and the water poisoned the people drinking it. Thousands of children exposed to lead. This wasn't a natural disaster, it was a decision. A system that treated human beings as a line on a budget. Hold that feeling. Because over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you that Flint isn't a glitch in the system. Flint is the system. And I'm going to show you exactly where it came from, why it still runs today. And this is the part nobody talks about, what we could actually build instead. Let's start at the very beginning. For almost all of human existence, we lived in small moving groups. We shared the kill. No one could store enough to rule anyone. Then we invented farming, and farming did something new. It created surplus you could store. And the moment grain could sit in a building, three things were born that had never existed. Property debt and a class of people who controlled the store. You didn't have to be stronger anymore. You just had to control the granary. And a person in debt is a person who obeys. We didn't only plant wheat, we built the first cage. The very first writing wasn't stories or prayers, it was accounting, counting grain, counting workers, counting what you owed. Writing was born as a tax ledger, then came the law. Hammurabi, almost 4,000 years ago, carved his code in stone. And the punishment depended on your class. Noble, commoner, slave, three different prices for the same crime. Law didn't make people equal, it carved the hierarchy into stone and made it official. And at the top of that stone, a god. The message never changed. Don't argue with this. It's divine. That's the oldest trick there is, to rule thousands while outnumbered. Every empire after copied Rome. Real roads, real law, the dream of citizenship bundled with mass slavery you were never shown. And to keep a crowded, unequal city calm, a Roman writer named the formula 2,000 years ago, bread and circuses. Feed them just enough, entertain them endlessly, keep the stomach full and the eyes busy, and they'll never ask who's really in charge. When empires ran out of neighbors to take from, they asked a darker question. What if we took from the whole planet? They got permission. And India wasn't first conquered by a country. It was conquered by a company, a private business with its own army. Then colonialism became too ugly to admit, so the empire changed clothes. The borders stayed, the debts stayed, different century, same logic. We're taught that the old kings are gone, that now we are in charge. So let's check. Remember the company that ruled India for profit? That idea never left. It scaled. Today, decisions are made like a business. What's cheapest? What protects the people at the top? What keeps the revenue flowing? Flint was that math out loud. Look at the three things a human being most needs to be free. Justice, often only as much as you can afford to pay for. Healthcare, in much of the world, a bill that can end a family. Education, a debt you carry for decades for a piece of paper. Today, the feed does both at once. An infinite scroll engineered to keep your eyes busy so you never look up. And while you watch the screen watches you. Your attention, your location, your habits, measured, packaged, and sold. Underneath it all, debt that keeps people running just to stand still, and division, the cheapest weapon of all. As long as we're fighting each other across borders and sects and parties, we will never turn around and look at the system together. The kings didn't leave. They took off the crown and put on a logo. Most people spend their lives inside a cage they didn't design. That's the heaviest part of this story, except for what just happened. We just built something that breaks the pattern. The only question is which way it breaks. Every concentration of power in history needed two things: information and reach. The king who knew the most and reached the furthest won. Artificial intelligence is the most powerful amplifier of information and reach ever created. It's the final fork in this entire story. Down one path, the cage becomes perfect, a system that can watch everyone at once and gently steer billions without ever showing its hand. But here's what makes this moment different. For the first time, the superpower isn't only available to the people at the top. The same intelligence that could build the perfect cage could also be handed to every ordinary person on Earth to understand and to organize. Imagine an operating system, not for a phone, for a society, built on one rule: power flows up from the people. It starts local, your street, your neighborhood. People raise issues and vote. Decisions flow upward instead of being handed down. Every public funding tracked live on a public ledger, no one can edit. You'd be able to watch the money from the budget to the building, give every person their own expert, an AI that reads the 1,000-page bill and tells you what it actually does to your life. A game where playing actually does something, where the puzzles you solve fold real proteins and push real research forward. Learn by doing on real problems, and your skills connect you straight to real opportunities. You graduate into a network. An individual gets a voice. A business plugs into a transparent marketplace, woven into one transparent system that the people own. I'm not going to lie and say this exists today, fully built. It needs a team and builders, but the heart of it, the governance loop, exists now. The mosque I serve in runs on a model over 1,000 years old. No shareholders, no kings. It works because no one owns it. That's a blueprint. Every system before now turned power into a god. We have a chance to build a system that bows to no one, that belongs to all of us. This is the fork. We are standing on it right now, and forks don't wait. So I'm not asking you to follow me, I'm asking you to build with me. If one sentence felt true, share it. If you can build, design, write, or code, find me. This is day one of an open project to change the system. For the first time in human history, the people can own the system. Let's go take it back. Comment awake if you're in.